The amount of times it has taken me to film an introduction to make the simplest Christmas cookie I have in my recipe book is outrageous. So we're just gonna grow a pair and we're gonna be talking about cookies. It's not that hard. We are making Russian tea cookies today. They're a form of shortbread cookies. In my house, we called them snowballs growing up because we're gonna be rolling them in powdered sugar so they look like little snowballs, which is appropriate for today because we have already gotten like a foot of snow in Massachusetts. So I'm excited. I'm feeling a little bit festive. It's been hard this year to feel festive, so I think I'm gonna try to continue to make some more cookies today and all the way up until Christmas and post them all out. This recipe is super simple. It doesn't even have eggs in it, so you don't even have to store it in the refrigerator. And without further ado, we're gonna get started. At Christmas, we're not messing around. We're gonna use the stand mixer today. You can use any sort of hand mixer or even just your hands with this recipe because you want your butter to be nice and soft when you start. Which brings me to our first ingredient. Butter. You'll need a cup of butter, which is 2 sticks. For short, years of baking have made me proficient in my butter measurements. Softened room temperature. You don't even need regular sugar for this recipe. We're going to be using confectioner sugar, powdered sugar. All you need is a half a cup of that. Half cup. Put it right in. You need a teaspoon of vanilla. Never have enough vanilla. Plus this is like the not good stuff. Now we're gonna mix that together until it's nice and creamy. Start on low. Trash. Make sure you don't have a whole stick of butter stuck to your paddle. It's a little cold in here, so it's not like super soft. There we go. Now you're gonna want to gradually add your flour in. You're gonna need 2 1/4 cups of flour. I had to check my recipe book. 2 1/4 cups of flour. So what I like to do is either add 1 cup or a half a cup of flour in at a time until it mixes all the way into your butters and your sugars, and then you add the next one. And then once you've got that all incorporated, you can just let it rest. With cookies, you don't normally want to overmix. With cakes, it's usually better to mix it as long as possible to make them nice and fluffy. But with cookies, it can be kind of dicey. Because this is a shortbread, your dough is going to be kind of crumbly. That's totally normal. And once this mixes in, we're going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and 3/4 cups of finely chopped walnuts. Or whatever nuts you prefer. Walnuts are pretty neutral, so you can do a lot with this recipe. And that is seriously it for this recipe. This is your dough. You can store it at room temperature. It doesn't have any eggs or anything that needs to be stored in there. And we're just going to get on with baking these bad boys. Hey, welcome to the other side of the table. We're just gonna use our hands and roll our dough into small little balls, putting them on an ungreased baking sheet. They don't really expand, so you can kind of pack these guys in as you like, and bake them at 400 degrees for 8 to 12 minutes, depending on how hot your oven is. I would err on the side of caution and check these often. You don't want them to be like golden brown. All right, we're gonna throw on a little bit of Slipknot and make these into cookies. All right, we're gonna throw, oh, hello. Hello. We have a guest. Hi. Oh my goodness, you're beautiful. Could you say a word for the camera? Thank you, that's all I needed. All right, beans. Okay, so we're gonna throw these in the oven at 400 degrees, and like I said, we'll probably check them at like 8 minutes. My oven runs super hot, and it also makes this beautiful noise when you open it. Beautiful. This is incredibly difficult to do. How do you people do it on the internet? Alrighty. Alright, I checked these guys at 8 minutes and I added on 2 more minutes. They are just about done. So these ones took about 10 minutes. Beautiful. Love that song. Pull these out. Also, other lovely noises the oven makes. All right. So as you can see, these still look pretty light. When you touch them, oh, that one's a little crispy. When you touch them, they should look like this on the bottom. Oh, wow. All right, cool. The bottom of my oven is way hotter than the top. All right, that's good to know. Anyway. All right, so yeah, the bottom should look like this, a little bit golden. We're gonna let them rest for like a couple minutes, and you know, little trash action. And then what we're gonna do is roll them in more powdered sugar, and they're gonna make little snowballs. We don't want them to be too hot because then they'll break and fall everywhere. But you also don't want them to be cold because then the powdered sugar won't stick on them. So yeah, we're gonna just let them cool. and see you in a second. We are back at our workstation. We have our warm snowball cookies here. Well, they're not snowballs quite yet. They will be when we dip them in some snow. All right, so you're just gonna throw them wherever you want, and then roll up your sleeves. Get on in there. Just roll them around in the snow, have a great time. There we go. And just put them in something, you know, something to hang out in. The little snow buddies. And that wraps up our Russian tea cookies, aka snowball cookies. This batch made about 40 cookies, a little over 3 dozen. So everybody in your family can take a few and you guys can have an awesome snowball fight at the dinner table. Don't tell them I gave you that idea, and I hope you come back for some more cookies. Thanks so much. Bye.